Hello and welcome. Today we're going to put Legoland Billund in the big screen against Legoland Windsor in the smaller screen. On the minute, every minute they will change sizes. Now the reason why I put the Lego Movie World against Mythica is because Billund was the last Legoland to receive the Lego Movie World, whereas Windsor was the first theme park to receive the Mythica. So there's some big differences, obviously, with the theming, but there's also things that are very, very similar as well. Because I think Windsor was supposed to receive the Lego Movie 2 World, and then it just kind of fell through to think Disney issues and things like that. So the first thing that we'll spot is that there's lots of models in both, but the Lego Movie section has lots of these sort of injection mold figures, whereas Windsor has the more brick built figures. So you can see here, look, you've got the big models made out of the Lego bricks, and it also has a Duplo invasion as well. As we pan around, there's three things that are basically the same with different themings. So we're going to have to play spot the difference. The first one is this slide. So you can see this big dragon here that we've got. As we pan around Billund and we walk around the actual park, when we get towards the end, there'll be Benny's spaceship. So that is one thing that is basically the same apart from the theming. Over in Billund now, we'll spend a little bit of time just having a look at this ride getting going so we can actually see just how long the ride is, because that is one thing that Windsor does not have. Germany has it, but it also actually has it in their Ninjago section, which is something completely different again. Now, something else that is not within the Lego Movie 2 section is the thing that we're about to pan around now, which is the new Hydros Challenge. Now, this was yellow, and it normally was linked to the adventure section bits and pieces, which actually is still in Billund and Dubai, but obviously Billund just have it in a different location. This has only just recently been rethemed to the Mythica. So this ride is dotted around in a lot of the different Legoland parks, but it does have different theming depending on where you're going. Now, the other thing that will be very, very similar, but also completely different on the inside when we get there is the 4D cinema. The inside of it, you would think from the outside they're going to be the same size, they'd be the same scale. They are completely different with regards to queue layout, and obviously just the theming on the inside is massively different. The park structure is quite similar because you have got 2 ways in, 2 ways out. You've got more places to eat at the one in Windsor because you've got that one there where it says Beastly Bites, and then you have got a new bit here, which is the Magical Forest, which we will be taking a look at a little bit later on. The other thing is you can also get your fish and chips from here, whereas you've just got like a little snack bar at the movie section. They might have added more bits and pieces in now because these are the 2 most recent videos that I've been able to put together. But you can see just how detailed that model is with regards to the T-Rex, with regards to the Lego bricks and things. I think that is one of the more photo opportunities for the bigger Lego models, just beside all the Duplo bits. And then the rest of them were sort of more in molding injection things. So very, very different with regards to just how Windsor has lots and lots of brick-built things. You can see there's a huge amount of models. So as we pan around and we start heading down towards something that will be very, very similar, which will be the Unikitty drop tower and the Fire and Ice drop tower. Both of them are the exact same ride with completely different theming. Now, some of these models you can see from Windsor are absolutely massive. The amount of people that are taking photos of these as you walk through, the colors don't really do it justice. It needs to be really, really sunny to get the perfect photo because the bricks are obviously still brand new when I was filming that, so they hadn't weathered or anything like that, and the colors that were coming through were absolutely fantastic. Now, as we come down towards where the other 2 rides are, which are the same 2 rides that Billund has, we should start meeting at the exact same time. So all I'm doing at the moment is, I think, with the video that we're looking at with that going around, there's a little bit of an issue with it to start with, and it was just really interesting to see how quickly they fixed it and they got going. But if you keep your eyes peeled, there'll be people spinning all the way around as almost like a 360. Other people not spinning around too much because you can move the rings round on the thing that you sit on, so it is a good bit of fun. So I think that is a perfect thing for the smaller ones and bigger ones alike. I would like this ride to come to Windsor if it was ever at all possible, but obviously they're not exactly cheap, are they? But it'd be very interesting to see if it did come to Windsor, what they would use for their theming. So talking of theming, we are at the Fire and Ice drop tower. As we move on in a minute up around Billund, you will see that this is exactly the same thing. It's a dual drop tower for the teeny tiny ones, and it's just has the different theming of it being the Unikitty theming. Now, as we pass around that and we keep walking down, we'll have a look at there's some more big models at Windsor, and then we'll have a look at inside, hopefully, the big movie section as well. Trying to get my words are getting twisted on that one. So we've got the big 4D cinema, which we'll be having a look at very, very shortly as we walk down, as the ride in Billund starts coming to an end. So I think everybody was screaming and having a good time on that one. So you can see here, you've got the huge sort of unicorn thing with wings. It's very, very different, all of these things that you can do, and it be quite surprised that they haven't released too many Lego sets for that yet. There is an exclusive Lego set out at the moment at both Legoland parks, so I don't think it'd be too long, but you can see just how big that thing is. So that is the Flight of the Lion Sky, I do believe, which we will be taking a quick look at in a second for the queue line, and then I think we'll then just quickly flip from this queue line straight to the Lego Movie queue line as well. So we're now going to have almost a direct comparison between the two. So we should flip in a second and we are in. So this was done very, very quickly. I had no idea what to expect. I had a load of people behind me. That's why it's so shaky and bouncy, because I had the wrong camera. So the models on the inside look really, really cool. They're just smaller versions of everything that is located within the ride. And then you realize actually they are dotted all over the place with regards to the actual main models outside. So you can get most of your photos taken with all of these on a much, much larger scale. If you're keeping your eyes peeled for Billund, you can see you've got all the posters and everything on the outside, which is just exactly what it was like in the actual sort of film as well. And you can see now there is the exact same thing. So we're now looking at the different fascia. So we had the big dragon on the one, we've got the big Unikitty on the other, but both the buildings do the same thing. But you'll soon see just how different the queue lines are with both. So obviously what I'm doing is I'm snaking all the way through round and round and round, and that's basically it. It's just one huge queue, and you end up looking at the sort of the same models from the middle. And then it was very, very hot in there as well, if I remember rightly. Whereas this one, look how bright and colourful it is. And you've got all of these cool things around the outside. Then you've got the big building bays on the inside as well. So not only do you have the models that are on the inside, you can also build everything as well. So the little ones can run in there and then rejoin you at the queue line. Obviously, I'm not going to do the queue line because I don't actually get on it. So I just think I crawl underneath the barrier. So I let these people pass, crawl underneath, and you can see all of the back wall is actually things that you can build on as well. So this one seems to be a little bit cooler with regards just to the temperature, even though I think it was warmer in Billund at that time. So I'm not too sure why it is so different, but let me know what you think with regards to the colours, because the theming is the theming, but which one do you think is more eye-catching on the inside and a bit more of a nicer experience? Now you've got this creature encounter. That is where you have sort of live actors interacting with the little ones, with the creatures that are from the Mythica ride itself. I think Windsor's missed a treat though, because I think they should have had a teeny tiny little shop as you came out of the 4D ride, and it sold some of those creatures, because the amount of little ones that enjoyed the actual ride itself, it can sell quite a lot of Lego, I think, because they've got all of these bins as well. So you do have where you can build your own mythical creature look, and you've got this cool thing around the outside. Now they've got one of these in Billund, but it's actually by the haunted house. So I do like seeing these, but I think they're very, very, very clever. And obviously what the little ones can do is they can add their own models to it, and then they just get broken up at the end of the day, and then they can just carry on and so on and so forth. But I think it's a really bright, cool looking thing. Now, as we're coming back out into Billund, you can see here directly in front of us, what is that? That is the Unikitty drop tower. So you've got the big disco drop tower, I think it is, where it's just what the Fire and Ice ride was. So again, they're both the rides are side by side. They're both exactly the same rides, apart from obviously what you see on the screen. You got it's a triple tier couch, I do believe. So you sit on Emmett's couch on this one that we're looking at with the big tongue, where it's exactly the same thing that you sit on. It's the same mechanism, but it just tells a completely different story. If you've managed to do either of them or both of them, how would you compare them, and which one would you pick? Now, I think the land at Mythica is one of the best additions that Windsor's done in a very, very long time with regards to just the huge amount of models that you've got. I mean, look at this crazy thing here that we're just about to have a pan round. The colours are really, really bright in both theme parks. Now, you can see what we've done is that we've got to the other exit of the one in Billund, and we're about to pan round, turn around, and just walk back up the other way. And then we'll have everything to the left-hand side. So we'll have a quick look at the drop tower, and then we'll have a look at the big Benny spaceship slide, and then that will start to wrap it up with regards to what is in Billund. And I do believe what we'll do is we carry on walking through and round by the other entrance currently at Windsor as well. So you can see there that loop. And all I've done is I've just cut the walk that I'd already done, and we're about to now walk through the next addition to Mythica. So this opened up the following year, which is the Magical Forest, and we'll finish inside the Magical Forest, which is another really nice thing. But you do need to download the QR code if you want to, or their sort of Legoland app, to be able to run it. But you walk through this new thing just here, and then you come all the way down, and there's lots and lots of models to have a look at. So we'll flip between the both parks again, I think one more time, and then we'll spend another couple of minutes in Windsor before it all finishes. But guys, if you can like this video and subscribe to the channel, that'd be absolutely fantastic. I'll get that in early before the video finishes. Hopefully you've enjoyed it so far. Let us know in the comments below which you prefer theming wise, because like I said, this theming could have very easily come to Windsor instead, but they have, which I'm very much looking forward to, they have opened up a brand new expanded part of Legoland Germany. It's not taking anything over, whereas this did in Windsor. It took over a big section of the park, and they've obviously changed some land and theming and things. Whereas they've added in the first ever of its type to a Legoland roller coaster, which looks absolutely fantastic. And they've got some amazing theming, but they also do have this little drop tower as well. And it does look like they've got room for expansion. So I'm very much looking forward to getting over to Germany just to see that new land, because the theme park itself is absolutely fantastic. But you can see just there, look, you've got the animatronics at the top, just like you did with the other one. And you can just see how it changes, and they just sort of bounce down and bounce back up, down. But both of the 4D rides are huge. They take up a huge amount of square footage. But again, what we're walking through now is mix of both. So you can see that you've got the larger characters that are within the mythical land. So it looks like we're just walking through and exploring everything. Some are Lego brick built, some are more big molding. And again, it's very similar things to what is the molding at the one in Billund as well. But this thing here, it's Lego brick built. I love having a look at how amazing it is with what they've done with all of the bricks. I think it just all looks fantastic. And this is a place that is quite nice. Actually, you can just walk through and escape if you want to. So you've got the hustle and bustle of the bit just literally to the right hand side. But if you just walk in a straight line where I am currently, you'll end back up at the Flight of the Lion Sky. And then you can get on that or just cut back through. And that takes you back into the next section of the park. And again, with Billund, depending on which way you come, you can either go to, I do believe it is the castle, or you then move on to the penguin enclosure. So you've got a choice of two. So again, you're spoiled with both lands with regards to how easy it is to find on the map. And also you've got 2 ways in and 2 ways out. I do believe we're just about to have a look at Benny's ride now. So there we go. You've got the big slide, and then you've got Benny's spaceship on the front. So again, that's the 3 things that are exactly the same. So there's 3 things the same. There's 2 rides that are different with regards to Hydra's Challenge, and then you've got that big sort of flying ride as well, which is the Duplo Invasion, I do believe. You have got places to build in both. So here, look, you can build your own Duplo Invasion, or monster, shall I say, or your alien. And then in the other one, you can build your own mythical creature. So they both have building areas for the little ones and the big ones alike. So you've got that opportunity. And then obviously the Hydra's Challenge, they don't have it within this section, but if you were just to walk in a straight line, it will then take you pretty much to the adventure section as well, and then you can just jump on it there. So all of everything that's at Windsor, they almost have at Billund and vice versa, apart from 1 or 2 bits of theming, and there is the odd ride, obviously, that they don't have. But let us know what you think of the theming with regards to both. Which one do you prefer? Which one would you like to visit if you could only visit one? That is the point of me doing these videos. Obviously, this one's slightly different, a little bit harder to follow with, because obviously it's not a like for like thing, even though the rides are very similar. Now, I do think that where we're walking through Windsor now, like I said, is just a really nice addition. If you catch it wrong, though, I do think the path is a little bit tight. So it's one of those where it's really nice, but you can see as we're walking around, it's not the widest thing. So you do kind of feel that you got to keep moving ever so slightly. But obviously, if you're in a big group of people, you can't really get past very well. But again, this was done last year, so they might have changed it. So I am looking forward to getting back. But the fact that you can take some really nice photos of this sort of Venus flytrap, but then you pan down, you realize it's not quite what that is. And then you've got this thing, for example, which is a duck with a snail's shell. You know, they've got some very weird and wonderful models in there. So you can spend a good amount of time looking up and looking at the trees. And then we are starting to lose time at the Lego Movie section. So we're nearly finished with that one. So I think we'll go back to a big screen now as we walk out. So you can see that they've got the really nice big crane. So we are now exactly where we started. They've got matching entrances on this one, which is something that is different to the one in Mythica. Mythica has like the big curvature or circle from the one area, which you from Heart Lake City, I do believe, and the area that we came from is actually from the hotel. So if you keep your eyes peeled on Windsor now, as we are saying goodbye to Billund, so that will soon flip around and change about. What we have got is that we've got this massive volcano that we're currently looking at, which looks absolutely fantastic, and you are spoilt for choice with regards to what way you can go and all the other little bits and pieces that you can see as well. So what we have currently is you have all of these amazing things that you can stick your head through. You can take a load of photos with. And then as we come round and through, you can also see that we have this massive egg, and you've got all the photo opportunities with regards to all of these crabs, and there's all sorts of bits and pieces dotted around in the trees as well, which we will be taking a look at in a second. So like I said, if you would like to have had the Lego Movie World in your theme park, then obviously let us know. Or would you prefer the Mythica? I think over the two, I think with regards to the theming and everything like that, I'm quite happy that we've got Mythica at my local park. But I guess everybody's got their own taste. But because the theming's based on the second film more than the first, and the first film is much better in my eyes than the second, you know, it is what it is. But it'd be interesting to see what they carry on with and where they introduce what next. But like I said, I'm very, very much looking forward to getting to Germany just to see how different it is with regards to the theming and if they've added any other creatures in. But you can see here, look, you've got all of these models dotted everywhere. So between the two lands, this section obviously has a lot more models in, but don't forget Billund has all the models dotted absolutely everywhere within their theme park as well. So what is still to come when we pass the baby lava dragon's nest is we're going to walk underneath this little tunnel thing here, and there'll be a huge dragon on with some TV screens, which is very, very impressive to see. But I think you could spend a huge amount of time just trying to find every single Mythica creature. I don't know how many different ones are actually in there. I can't remember off the top of my head. It does say when you first enter all the things that you can have a look at and all the different things to hunt down and things like that. So there are games to be played within this area if you wanted to, or you can just walk around and soak it in. But as a sort of getaway walk-through attraction and just as a little almost like a bit of peace and quiet, I think it works very, very well. But guys, I am slowly starting to run out of time. So again, in the comments below, let us know what you think. Let us know what you compare. This thing here, I think, is really, really visually impressive just with what's coming. As the dragon comes over our head, that'll be where it starts to finish. But in the comments, let us know if you are getting a Mythica as well, actually, because it'd be very, very interesting to know by the time you've actually watched this. Because I know, like I said, Germany's opened up, but I don't know if any of the other theme parks have introduced or they've added anything Mythica related, because they do have the little models and things dotted around in all the mini lands. But guys, that is it. I am done. So as always, thank you very much for watching. You lot take care, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ta-da.